Hello guys, this is Red World Techie. Today in this video, let's have a hands-on on our Docker commands, which is nothing but Docker run, Docker start, Docker stop, and Docker execute. Let's create a small working app where we can execute all these commands and have a better understanding. If you haven't seen my explanation of these commands, so please have a look at my previous video where I have briefly explained by using a game as an example so that we can easily relate to. Before jumping directly to the hands-on, let's have a simple checklist to make sure our app and Docker commands work smoothly. In my previous hands-on video, I have forgot mentioning these things. So let's not miss this one in this video. The first required app is Docker Desktop app, and the second one is our code editor. Currently, I'm using Visual Studio Code. You can use whichever you like or your favorite code editor. So here are the official websites where we can download Docker Desktop app and also the Visual Studio Code. I'll provide these links in description so that it can easy to access and download these apps. So let's jump creating our project app. So I'll use Linux commands to create our project so that you will learn some new way to create our projects. Let's start creating our project. So if you want to know currently where we are located or which directory are we, so you can hit pwd command so that you can know which directory are we located at. So I am under projects directory. Let me create a new directory for our app, which is nothing but docker commands hands on. So let's see whether this directory created or not. For that, we'll use ls so that we can see what all list of projects we have created. So my Docker commands hands-on have been created. Let me go through that Docker commands hands-on. So cd and the directory name would navigate under that current folder. So in this folder, there are nothing have been created. So let's try creating our files which are required for our project. So touch dot touch app.py, which is nothing but a Python file which I am creating through our Linux commands. So touch app.py will create our Python file. ls, yeah, app.py got created. Let me create requirements file, which is key essential for our projects to maintain all dependencies in this file. So requirements.txt. I have forgot keeping our touch command. So let me include that too. Touch space requirement.txt. Hit that. Let's see. Yeah, app.py and requirements.txt have been created. Now let's create a Docker file, which is a key essential for our learning. So Docker file. So let's include our touch too. Touch is nothing but it's trying to create our files. And Docker file naming convention should be in this way so that it can be easier, and generally every developer follow this naming convention. So which is like globally used across all projects. So I'm following the same so that it would be easy and we can be following the standards of our developments. So let me see all our three files have created. Yeah. So let me open that file in our code editor too. So here is the files. We can even directly create our files like here too, but I have chosen Linux commands so that we can learn something new through this video. Let's start executing our Docker commands. So I have set up all the code ready so that we can directly execute our Docker commands. And this app.py. This app.py is nothing but having a API call response which can handle whenever the container is up. And basically this is a service app. Whenever the Docker container is up, the whole app would be up. And whenever I try to make an API response or API call, it should give us a response. And whenever our container is stopped or it dead, it won't give us a response. In this example, we can understand Docker start, stop, and execute and run. So this is the Docker file where we set up all the commands to execute whenever the Docker is getting started, and requirements.txt. This is the place where we hold all our dependency. So currently this is maintained on Flask project, which is nothing but maintaining the APIs. So that's the dependency we are maintaining here. If you want more explanation about this Docker file, you can watch my first introduction video where I have explained line by line what it is trying to do. But in this meantime, I'll give you a small crisp understanding about this Docker file. The first line is a Python Docker image, which is nothing but whenever the container is getting run, the Python environment would be getting set up so that our app knows which language or which code is trying to execute. So currently our app is based on Python. So this Docker image got set up, and this helps us to maintain our container in Python environment. And work directory app, which is nothing but we store all our files under this directory so that it would be easy and easy to understand where our files are stored at in Docker. And requirement.txt. This file also get copied into this working directory, and this is the line where it's trying to install all our dependencies present in this requirements.txt and copying this file into our working directory. This is the line which says copy app.py into our working directory. And this is the place where our container is get start or get trying to execute. It point out to the app saying that this app.py is the entry point and start executing our program from there. So let's start executing our commands. Let me open terminal. So here is the terminal. So let's try building our app. Docker build -t hands-on. Let's say the app name for now as a hands-on, which would be short and easy for us. And dot, which is nothing but it's trying to build our Docker container from this current directory. So let me give allow, and yeah, the Docker image got built. Let's build our container. Docker run -d name match 1, and let's keep the port open so that it's try to understand which port it's trying to communicate. And hands-on is our app. Let me explain this command first. Docker run is nothing but it's trying to run our container, and -d is nothing but detach mode. In this sense, when we keep this -d, it runs our container in background, or else it would block our terminal without doing any other operations, or it won't allow us to do any other operations. And we are naming our current container as match1 so that we can play multiple matches. If you remember, we were discussing this all commands by referring to our favorite online games like PUBG, BGMI, and Free Fire. So whenever we get into the game, we would install or launch multiple matches, right? So this is the reference where I'm trying to give, saying that match one, or else we can say uh, a quick match of 5 minutes, or else a big match of all the 100 players comes in. So this is the just a name reference. I'm keeping it for now so that we can launch multiple containers based on the same container image. Let's think this image build was our app, and this run is nothing but our individual matches which we play within the app. So I think this would understand you the command. And port is nothing but we are trying to communicate from our system's port to the containers port, so that it would make an API connection, or else it access the running app from the port from Docker to our local system. So let's try hit this command. So the container got built, our container got start. Let's start our container. So container got started. Let's see whether our container is present or not. So see, our container got started. So the Docker PS will show what all containers are up till now. So currently my match one is up. So let me try to hit that API so that we can even better understand whether our app is up or our container is up. Local host 5050 status. So here it says the game is up. So let me stop our app by saying docker stop match one. Let's wait until our container gets stopped. So our container got stopped. Let's try hitting the API again so that we can understand our container is up or not. So it says failed to connect because currently our local app or local app was not trying to listen our container because the container is stopped and we can't communicate through our container. And let me restart our match one so that we can get into those Docker container. Let's execute docker exe minus id. Its id is nothing but it's an interactive shell making us to open whenever the container is executed. Match one bash. So let's see what our files are present in ls. So the both the files we have copied it here. So copy app.py and requirements.txt. So both the files are in our container, and currently we are at app directory, which is nothing but working directory. Let's create a simple file touch tech example.txt. Let's see whether this app or a file got created or not. ls. So our example.txt is done. Let's save saying that we have made a kills of 10 people and KD is 5. Let's say this has a match history. Let's see whether this information got saved in example.txt. Yeah, so this got stored, but we can't see that file in these local files, right? This is a specialty where Docker container can make sure everything present inside the container. So we got into the container and saved this file, and we also wrote some data within this container. This is the where I was trying to explain whenever we run our matches, there would be an history of matches, right? This is the same thing we are trying to do, and it saved all the things even though we are running within the container, and those changes are not present in the main source app. So it would be storing all the things which inside the container. And let me get out of this execution command, exit. So I'm out of the execution command. Let's see our container is up or not. Yeah, it's up. Let's stop our Docker container. So Docker container got stopped. Let me restart it again. So the Docker container is up. So this way we can understand our commands, which is nothing but docker run, docker start, docker stop, and docker execute. If this video made your understanding much better in Docker, please give this video a like, subscribe, and comments. Please do let me know your opinion or any improvements required for my explanation. Thanks for watching.